Hey, what's up everybody, welcome back to a new video on the channel. So in today's video we will be checking out the website builder Squarespace. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, I usually cover a lot of different website builders. So you will have Wix, Weebly, GoDaddy, and now Squarespace. And these website builders are essentially the biggest ones in the market. And are usually the most user-friendly as well. And lately I've been seeing this ad way too often. So this ad has been driving me crazy, but what since Squarespace is marketing their tool so heavily lately, and I've been seeing this ad so much for the past few weeks, I thought it would be a good idea to actually make a beginner-friendly tutorial on how to use Squarespace, because I can imagine there are going to be a lot of new users looking to start a website. Whether it be just a simple blog or if you're trying to start a e-commerce website. Especially now during COVID, a lot of people are staying home. People want to do something special or do something with their time. A lot of people are either unemployed or have more free time because they can spend time with their friends. So a lot more people are looking to find a way to spend their time doing something more productive than perhaps just scrolling Instagram all day. So in today's video, we are going to check out Squarespace, how you can use it to create your own website, and what is it good for. Is it good for you, and should you pick Squarespace as your website builder? If you want to watch other videos on website builders, please check out my channel. I do have videos on other website builders, so before you decide on which tool you want to use, make sure you check out the other ones so you see what other competitors are also offering as well. If you want to follow along this tutorial, make sure you click on the link in the description to get to the same page that I am on. But with that said, let's just jump into the tutorial and hopefully you enjoy. So when you land on the Squarespace website, what you'll land on is this page right here. Nothing special, it's a Squarespace website, and you can show, they tell you a little bit about the features and what they offer you as a user. But we already know all of this. Of course, we all are already professionals at this. What we just want to do is just press on get started. And then you want to pick what you are gonna create. This doesn't really matter, you can change it at any point. This is for Squarespace to give you examples of how your website could look like depending on what you pick. So if I pick gaming, for example, they'll show me websites examples that are more related to gaming. If I pick politics, they'll probably show something more similar to a news website or something along those lines. Food, you'll probably get a blog layout or something similar to that. Health and beauty, probably e-commerce, and so on and so forth. So what we are gonna do today, we are gonna do what are we gonna do? We are gonna do a travel website. We are gonna make a travel blog. So you pick whatever you want, or if you don't want to describe, you can just skip this step and hop over to the next step. So what are your goals for your website? Either you can pick you're going to sell your products or you want to write about something. We are going to market our business. Now, do you want to know what process you're in? So this just depends on your situation. So perhaps we're just growing our business, let's say. So once you have finished these steps, you'll see the templates that Squarespace will recommend to you, and they will be different depending on what you just picked. So for me, I'll have these ones right here as I pick travel. They are okay. They show me real estate and properties. Okay, we're gonna be realtors in this video. So if you're a realtor, this is gonna be the perfect tutorial for you. This is gonna be even more perfect. So yes, we are realtors. We are looking to create a website. Perhaps we have a huge property for sale. We want to make a website specifically just for that property because this is a huge property. It's going to sell for 20 million or 50 million or whatever you want to do. So we are going to look for a template that fits us. I think this one could be good. So what we can do is just preview the template and then you see how it looks. It looks great. It's very simple. It has a slideshow at the top. You can contact directly, and then you'll have the contact information at the footer. You can also check the amenities, availability, neighborhood, and the team as well. You can also check out how it will look on tablet, also how it will look on your phone. And to me, this looks like a perfect website. We're not looking for anything like super specific. especially for this site. But if you are planning to either change your current company website, or if you have a large company, I would recommend you spending a lot more time thinking about what you actually want to do and what actually fits your brand the most. But if you're just starting out making something simple, you don't have to put that much effort into picking your theme. And you can always change this at a later stage. So it's not going to ruin your whole day if you just pick the wrong theme. Don't worry about that, but make sure you actually spend the time working on a site you think you will use for a long time. But I'm happy with this demo, so what we're gonna click is start with this design. Now you want to create your account on Squarespace. I'll do that real quick and then I'll get back to you. Okay, as easy as that. So I just created my account, and this will be the first thing you see once you've created your account, is to choose your site title. Everything can be changed at a later stage, so it doesn't really matter. For this one, I'll just do test video for YouTube will be our title, and then we can continue. This is how you edit your pages, create pages, style your pages. Once you have read through that, you can go ahead and get started. So as you can see here, there are a lot of things going on the screen. This thing that you'll have on the right will be tips, especially good if you're a beginner. But since you're watching this video, you don't need it, so you can just remove it. You can open it up back again at a later stage. So in the middle, you'll have the actual home page of the website, and then you can change. Look at your phone, or you look at your website on a phone. So this is how it will look. And then if you click back, you'll be back to your mobile phone or your desktop. So now, what can we do? We can go to our pages. We can design. We can check our e-commerce, marketing, scheduling, analytics, profile settings, and help. What are going to be the most important part, especially if you're just designing your website and not looking at your profile or your settings, your personal account settings? You'll mainly use pages, design, maybe e-commerce if you're gonna sell a specific product or service directly on the site. Marketing can be good as well. There's going to be extra services, email marketing, and so forth. Scheduling. I'm guessing, I haven't used this tool, but I'm guessing it's going to be more like appointment. So if you are a masseuse, or if you do photography and you want people to be able to schedule, I guess this will be your scheduling system. Analytics will be how many visitors you have, your sales, and everything else. We're going to go ahead and go to pages. So as I said before, this page has fairly limited pages. But what we can go ahead and do is just add new pages if we want more pages on our site. But what pages we have at the moment is going to be our home and also our contact page. So if we click on the contact page, we'll be taken to the contact page itself. So this is how the contact page will look. Leasing hours, you'll have the address, private showing, and also you're able to register your interest, the social media right here. And the title as well that we picked before. But let's go back to the home page again. So once you are on the home page, what you can do is click on edit. And once you're in the edit tool, you can see that most things on the website is going to be just drag and drop simple editing. So if we want to add another section to our website below the main header, what we can do is just click right here. And then you'll have even more options to pick from. So you can either add new headlines, you can add lists, gallery, images, quotes, text, video, appointment, contact, donation, form, newsletter, products, reservations, social, tour dates, calendar, chart, FAQs, location, logo wall, menu, music, and pricing. Many options to pick from. So all of this will kind of depending on what you're doing and how you want to design your website. But I'm not going to go through everything in this tutorial. As you can see, there are a lot of different elements you can use for your website. But I'm just going to go ahead and show you how most elements will work and how you can edit them yourself. So what I want to add under my header is going to be a list. So this will list different features that we offer in our property, Maybe this is going to be amenities or something that's just going to sell this website really good to our consumers that are going to be on the website. So once you find something you like, I like this one right here, all you have to do is just click it, and then it's going to be imported to your site. And all of these things you import, you can still delete it. So if we want to delete this right here, we can do so. So if you add something by mistake, it's just going to be just as easy to remove it. So don't worry if you make a mistake. As you can see here, we have a lot of different options. So now we have a new title on the site. We also have the new images, also some text areas we can use, and a call to action button at the bottom of the page. So let's start at the top. So the title at the top, let's say we do not want to change this one. So we're jumping down to what we just added, and let's just change this title. All you have to do is just click the title and change the text. So what makes our apartments so great is going to be our title. This can be whatever you want, but just making sure here that your heading, for SEO purposes, this video is not going to be on SEO, but if you want to make sure your website is optimized for Google, I would recommend you to put your title here as H2. So this is going to be your second most important title, and what you want to ensure is that you only have one heading 1 on your page. So each page will have one heading 1, and that will be our very first heading at the top. Moving on, you can also change it to bold if you want. You can change it to italic. You can add it as a quote. You can add it in a bullet point. And let's undo that. And you can basically add anything you want here. You can make it either on the left or on the right or in the middle. Once you have finished editing your title, we can jump on down until the next section, which will be the images. And these images actually could be a good example of our property. Let's say our property that we are trying to rent out or sell is located in this, to be honest, it looks amazing. I would definitely like to take a vacation at this place, wherever this is. And this is our property right here that we're looking to rent out. So all you have to do, in case you want to change these images, are just going to be to click on them, and then you'll have the little pen right here. When you click on that one, you can change the contents, which will be the image editor. You'll have the design. So you can even change it to a collage or card or overlap. You can stretch it. You can enable lightbox. You can also add animations if you want. So if you want it to fade in. So what that will do is when people scroll down, the image itself will have a nice effect to it. But if you want your website to be super fast, I would recommend you to skip all of the animations. It can be cool at some points, but don't overdo it. Don't add animation to everything on the website. You've probably seen these on some shitty websites that you've seen. There are gonna be websites that have too many animations and everything is just flying in and flipping in and overlapping, and it doesn't look good. So don't overdo it, but you can add it at some point throughout the website. Going back to the image itself, you can delete this one if you want, or add a new one, or just delete it completely. And let's say you want to change the design and just have the image in the middle. Something else that's very cool about Squarespace that Wix doesn't have is that you can do a focal point in the image. So if I move this focal point to the water, what will happen is that the image will follow the focal point, which can be good if the image itself is too big for the space you have put it in, and you want to make sure that the main product, let's say it's a product picture, you want to make sure the product is the main focal point of the image itself. So this one will be very useful for that. And let's say our house was in this picture in the corner, so what we could do is maybe highlight the picture with a focal point. But right now we don't have anything special, so we're just going to put the focal point in the water right here. Moving on, we have the second title. As before, you can just put anything you want in this area, so I'm just going to put hello. And then for the middle one, I'll just do test. And then for the third one, we're gonna do YouTube. In the text area of the website, you can put whatever you want, specifically maybe related to the image itself. So maybe this one would be, oh, look at the great view of our property, amazing outdoors area, perfect for the outdoorsman, the person who likes to go on a walk or go on a run in nature. Whatever you want to put in this area that is relevant for that. Perhaps this one can be something about privacy on our property, and this one can be like stunning architecture, unique to our brand, or something that sells the product itself or sells your service. or just sells yourself if you're making a website, perhaps just about yourself, if you have a blog or something else along those lines. Something that wants people to stay on your site. Your homepage is, in most cases, going to be the most important page. It's going to capture people's attention. So you want to make sure everything on your homepage is as interesting as everything else that you have on your website. So moving on, we have the button as well. So what you can do is just click on the edit, and we can change what it says. So perhaps we want people to book a viewing of our property, so book a viewing, hopefully that is spelled correctly, and the click-through URL is going to be where you're sending people. What you can do is just click the cogwheel and you can find pages that are inside of your website. So perhaps we want them to go to the contact page. We can pick it right here. And if you wanted to open in a new window, I wouldn't recommend adding it open as a new window unless you're linking to another website. So if you're linking to your social media, or if you're linking to your YouTube channel, or a video you want to reference, or an article you want to reference, I would put it as open in a new window. Otherwise, what will happen is that you'll most likely lose your visitors because they cannot find their way back. So you're gonna lose that visitor, and it can be quite annoying to get taken to another site when you are on the site already. So opening a new window, I recommend it for all external links you're going to use, essentially. But as this one is going to be our internal link to our own website, we're going to keep it as is. Then we can also change the size of our button, so we can make it larger if we want it to be. We can also make it left or right. I'm going to keep it in the middle for this one. I think that looks best. And honestly, the large one doesn't look that great, so I'll go back to our medium one. Once you are done with your edits to the button, you can just go ahead and click apply. So now we have walked through how you can edit elements and add new elements on your site and on your pages. So let's go ahead and dive a little deeper into some other elements on your site. So once you're done with your changes, you can go up in the corner and click save. Once you have saved everything on your site, you can see that you're still on the home page and you have the cogwheel right here. If you click on the cogwheel, you'll have these settings that are more general settings for the page itself, more back-end settings. So this will be your general, SEO, social image, and also advanced. So starting in the general one, you'll have the page title. So what is the title of this page? Perhaps this is going to be your shop page, or your blog, or something else that you want it to be. The navigational title is going to be how it's going to look in your navigation. So if it's the home page, you probably want to have it as home. If it's a shopping page, you'll have it as shop. If it's about flowers, maybe it's flowers, or back and forth. The URL slug is going to be the URL of the website. So let's say our website's name is ourproperty.com/home. So if you want to change this URL, you can change it to whatever you want, but I would recommend you to stay fairly similar to what the page is relevant to, just to make sure that everything is relevant. So if this page was about flowers, I would put flowers. And if the page itself was about a flower shop, I would put flower. I would put flower shop. So this all depends what the page is about, but we're going to keep this one as home. You can also enable the page. If you disable the page, it's not going to be able to be visited by any users. You can also add a password to the page if you want to password protect it. Perhaps it's not just ready for launch, but you still want your team to be able to go ahead and have a look at the website, or perhaps just give you feedback on what you've done so far. So this is going to be super useful for those kind of cases. Going back to the different options, we'll also have SEO. So jumping into SEO, you can go ahead and edit your SEO settings. What this does is change how your website or the page itself will appear in Google search or other search engines. So if you ever search for how to bake a cake, when you see the search results, you will see a title, you will see a short description, and also the URL of the page itself in most cases. So if we go ahead and click on edit website SEO settings, we can confirm. We are gonna see that we have some things that we are able to edit here. You'll have the SEO title format. We're not gonna use a format for this one. We're just gonna pick it ourselves. So our our prop. What's the name of our company here? It's gonna be Test Video YouTube. It's gonna be the name of our company, and then maybe we want to put some kind of keyword here. So apartments in Canada. It looked like it was Canada, so I'll put Canada. Apartments to rent in Canada could perhaps be our title. And they're showing you a preview on how it's going to look in Google above as well. So for the SEO site description, you can put a short description of what the page is about. I recommend you to keep it about 160 characters, because at some point Google will cut off your description if it's too long. But it is okay if you make it too long. It's just going to be cut off. It doesn't affect any of your rankings in organic search. But however, if you make sure it fits within the actual search box, it's going to look more user friendly. So overall, users are going to be more keen on actually clicking onto your site. So this one, I'm just going to put, hello, thank you for visiting our site. And this is not a good example of a meta description. I would recommend you to go ahead and look at what your competitors does and then do something similar to that. If you want to learn more about your meta descriptions, your SEO site description, you can go ahead and look at some of my other videos on my channel where I cover more SEO in depth. Once you have finished that, that's going to be for your home page. You also have your pages, and this is how your format is going to be like. So this all depends on how you format it directly on the page, as you can read right here. Also have it for items as well. But once we have checked off this one, we can just go ahead and click save. So now we have learned how we can change our pages, add elements to the pages, and also cover some basic SEO options. So let's jump into the design part of the website. Once you go into design, you'll have the options to change your fonts, your colors, animations, spacing, buttons, basically everything that has to do with design on the site itself. So jumping into fonts, this is how you'll change how the text looks. So this kind of depends on what fits your brand. Perhaps look at your logo. What font do we use for our logo? Use something similar to that. So let's just go ahead and see what we can find. I like this one right here, Granville. So this one is the one I want to use. So once I've picked one, I can click save. Once that is saved, you can go back. And then you can also change the base size of the text, maybe 18. You can change specific texts on your site that should have different fonts as well. So if you want your paragraph to have a specific font, you can do so. If you want your buttons to have a specific font, you can do so as well. I would recommend you to keep it to 2 fonts. Usually what you'll see is that you have one specific font for the titles. So all of the titles, the titles will essentially be all the shorter, bigger text on the site. So these will have a specific font, while the paragraphs on the site will have another font that's usually easier to read, maybe not as aesthetically pleasing, but still fits the overall font itself. Once all of that is done, we're gonna go ahead and click save. Now we're gonna jump into the other option we have here, which is gonna be colors. You'll have the option to change your color palette, but also section themes. We're gonna go ahead and change our color palette. And our company is actually more, it looks a bit Irish. Our company style is more of a blue one. So I like this blue one. Maybe it doesn't really fit with the nature pictures we have right here. I think this one looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go with this color palette. This will essentially change some of the most common items on your site and just change the kind of like feel of your website. So make sure you pick something that fits your brand. Once you're happy with your choice, you can go ahead and click save. You can also go into section themes. So in the section themes, you can also change things. So you'll have the white minimal. All of these options will give you more of a granular way to edit the colors of everything on your site. This is going to be more time consuming. So if you want to go ahead and look through all of the options you have here, you can do so. But this is going to take way too much time for this tutorial, so we're going to jump this step for now. And you can also change into section themes if you want to go more in depth. But let's go back into the design elements. We'll have the animations. We're going to skip this one. You'll have the spacing, so the spacing between different elements on the site itself. So let's jump into that real quick and just have a look at what we want to do. So this is going to be for page width, how wide the page is itself. I would recommend you to keep it at 1800. But if you want to make it higher or lower, you can do so for design purposes. This is more advanced. but I would recommend you to keep it at 1800 unless you're fairly familiar with website design. So keep it at 1800 for now. Let's go back to the design. You'll have the button design. So let's say we're not really happy about how our button looks right here. Perhaps we want it to be a solid button instead, so we'll have a solid color. I think that makes it stand out more and make people more inclined to actually click on it. So we're gonna keep it as a solid. We also want it to be rounded. Perhaps, yeah, I think pill will be a better option. But for our style that we already have, is kind of a square website. It's a Squarespace website, so I'll keep it as a square for this one. And then you can change the padding as well if you want to change the padding, but we're not going to change the padding, so we're just going to go ahead and click save. Once you're back into the design, you can also change your product items, your image blocks, your browser icons, lock screen. The lock screen is going to be when your website is still under development, so you'll have a page that says that it's locked. You can add text saying, sorry, the website will be back in a few weeks or a few days, so make sure you come back then. So perhaps we are just taking a break. Make sure you check back in. Make sure you check back in a week. Could be our text if you wanted to. You can also change it to a logo if you want. And you have all these different options. Once we have done this, what we can go ahead is go back to our home, and we are happy with how the website looks. We have made all of the changes, and as you can see, there are too many options to go through in just one video. Hopefully this gave you a simple overview of what you can change in your Squarespace website and also what Squarespace offers. It's not going to be as advanced when it comes to options as Wix, but it's going to make sure that everything you do still looks great. So what will happen in Wix, it gives you a lot of freedom. But when people get a lot of freedom without any kind of website experience from before, they'll end up with a terrible website. So Squarespace makes it easier for you as a user with less options, but as a user, it will kind of make sure that your website looks great from a design perspective. If you want to check out Squarespace, make sure you click the link in the bottom down below. If you want to follow me on social media, please go ahead and do so as well. And also like the video if I helped you out. And if I didn't help you out, please leave a dislike. If you have any comments or any questions about how to use Squarespace or what website design tool I would recommend to you, please just leave it in a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully everyone enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the very next video.